Now, how cool is this? These newfangled games are so convenient for the players. You play the demo, you get the full game, and they let you transfer the demo data right over. So the progress you made in the demo, you get to continue right off from there. How cool is that? And from what I remember, this game is the gameplay itself's pretty simple to pick up, so I don't think we need to replay the demo. We could always go back to the tutorial if we really need to. So for now, I think I'm going to continue from where we left off. Which I think we had... They let us play several levels, and I think we even fought a boss. Whoa, look at that, achievements. Finish a level without getting hit, beat World 1, complete 1 kill all challenge. Look at that. All these achievements raining upon me. Sleepy. You're here for the shotgun copman. All one word. So, I think, are we in a new... Oh, okay, I see. So the demo was all one level? Oh, plus the tutorial is 0. So the demo gave you quite a bit of stages to play. Okay, so now we're in level 2 proper. So let's do it. So we have a handgun in one hand, we got a shotgun in the other hand. And the great thing about this is there is no jump button. There's no duck either. It's just left, right, A and D for left and right. And then you shoot your handgun and your shotgun to jump. That's the gimmick. I think that's Satan? Stop, I have a warrant for your arrest. You shotgun cop, man. Damn. We have a warrant for his arrest, but he ain't having it. Oh, that's an enemy? So the same weapons we use to platform is how we fight the enemies. You know, it's a cool idea. Sure. Oh god, that was close. Is that a new weapon? No, I haven't like an automatic. A burst fire, rather. Crap! Oh. Okay. Gotta get left. And oh, you reload upon landing on the ground. So that's how you reload. So if you're just in the air the whole time, you ain't gonna have a good time. You need to land occasionally. Okay. Some deadly platforms. We want to avoid those. Alright. Secret. I wonder if there's like secret stuff. Probably is. Whoa! It's a shotgun upgrade, but crap! Oh, I missed it. That kind of was evil that it was spawned in the air like that. And you had a time limit to get it. I think that's the end of the level though. So there's all these challenges, which is, you know, good for replay value if you want to come back. How you doing tonight, Sleepy? Let's see what this shotgun upgrade is. Whoa, it's like a spreadier shot. As far as I can tell. You can drop through the ground. Oh, but we have our normal handgun back. So your upgrades only last as long as the level. Makes sense, I suppose. I forget, I think you get like a few hits of health, if I remember correctly. So, trying to be careful. Oh, you can like ricochet. Holy crap, were we always ricocheting our bullet? I just noticed. That has to be an upgrade, right? That's crazy. Seems like a really OP weapon now that I realize what's going on. I thought that was just like debris or something. Holy crap. That's pretty. You could hit enemies from so far away. Cool. Uh-oh. Hazards. Hazard tech. Oh, that was close. Oh, that was close. Like, we do not want to lose this upgrade if this is indeed an upgrade. It's too good. Just realized that guy could have shot us right there. It was dangerous. I wonder if this game uses, could use a gamepad. It's probably better with mouse and keyboard, which is what I'm using right now. It seems to be designed around that, but I'm just kind of curious. That guy's a little too out of the way. Crap. Oh! I can't believe I weaved between those. That was a total accident. What is this? Oh, see, but I don't have the ricochet. Crap, I should have kept that ricochet gun. I'm a fool. And the other gun just vanishes immediately. So this is one of those games where you can accidentally get, like, pick up a worse gun. It's not always going to be a good upgrade. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I mean, the burst fire is not bad, but that ricochet fire is this. Oh, an Uzi. Here we go. This is what we're talking about, probably. It's like burst fire, but better. There's like a shooting game, except you use like different types of meats as weapons. Would it be bratwurst fire? That's horrible. I don't think even Pac would have approved of that forced pun. That was really bad. Crap. No, and you lose your your upgrades that way too. Holy crap. Oh no. That sucks. Crap. Should have been extra careful. It looks like you only get 2 hits and then you're dead. Damn. Okay, at least we got one of our upgrades back. Pretty brutal. Whoa! Damn, I didn't realize we were gonna send me so high up. Crap. Oh, I need to get my heart back. Okay. So you take 1 hit, and then you have a chance to get your heart back. Oof. So this game can be pretty challenging. Crap. Crap. Oh, F? That's the, okay, that's the ricochet gun. It looked like it gave me the opportunity to like melee attack the enemy or something, which is good because I was out of ammo, but I didn't notice. Crap! Well, that sucks. There goes my automatic. No, my ricochet gun actually. I had just gotten hit. Now it's gone. Doesn't seem like a better shotgun. This seems like a worse shotgun. Oh wait, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I need to get my upgrades back before I get to the next boss. Wait, what? Wait, your handgun became a mini shotgun. That's what actually happened. Holy crap. Okay. Pretty crazy. Simply. No! One little mistake. You are doomed for eternity. Okay, at least we got all them. Why is there bouncy springs? Wait. What is the point of that? That's strange. It's because your bullets bounce off of it? Huh. Okay, burst fire. Better than nothing. I see, I could have used that. Come out more safely. Speaking of. Uh-oh, I gotta be careful here. There we go. Crap. Okay, at least their bullets don't go on forever. Crap. Oh wait, there's bouncy pads right there. What am I doing? Makes that a little bit easier, doesn't it? Zero out of 25. Uh-oh. What is this, an endurance? No upgrades or nothing? Oh, we want that. It's weird that it's F to pick it up. I don't know why. I feel like it should be like E. Oh, here we go, baby. This is what we want. Okay, let's keep the ricochet gun. Holy crap, look at that. Thing is, like, if there's a shotgun up here, that might be good to get, but... Holy crap! Been less than 5 seconds on the ground in a level and complete a speedrun challenge, and I got an all-in-one. Double O, you're here. The witness, shotgun Copman. This ricochet gun is so good. We have to try our best not to lose it. Thank you. Oh no! Just one hit and we will lose it. Let's try not to. I mean, look at that. That is insane. That is actual insanity. Right. What is... Pick it up? Let's see. Ah. I guess the only upgrade you change is your handgun, not your shotgun. So I have a little mini shotgun, but that ricochet gun was better, so I shouldn't have traded it. Oh well. What are you gonna do? What are you going to do? Alright. I mean, the mini shotgun ain't bad either, but that ricochet gun I think is just the best. That's the one you really, really want. might be good for boss load. We get to the boss with this. That's the ricochet gun. We want it. Ricochet guns! Yes. J enemy. Who's J enemy? You know what they say, the friends of my enemies. Wait. The frenemies. You're saying I'm my own enemy? Whoa, what is that? It's like a double Uzi? Oh, but it's burst fire. Wait, is it? Oh, you have to keep clicking. This is a weird gun, I don't really understand it. It's like a burst fire. You can... It's like a burst fire Uzi, I don't even know how to... Weird. First time I'm seeing this. The blood feud? I might have forgotten about it. Does it count as a rivalry if one of the two people doesn't know about the rivalry? Crap. No. You get one hit and then you have to get your heart back. It goes beyond simple rivalry. Dang. It goes to complex rivalry. Advanced rivalry. Oh, there's an upgrade up there. Try to get it. Safe. Because I think we're almost at a boss. So... In fact, this is one of those cool games where you gotta continue your progress from the demo. I like how a lot of modern games do that now. Back in my day, we wouldn't have anything like that. Back in my day, your demos took place in a random place in the middle of the game. It is kind of interesting that nowadays, a lot of demos, especially for indie games, are like alpha, like what will end up being like alpha builds or something, like if they end up changing the game a lot. Or you have something like Eclipsium where they completely... Just everything in the demo is completely removed from final product, which is like crazy. It's neat though, it's probably also a sales tactic designed to manipulate the soft and fragile human mind. Is it a sales tactic? I didn't know that it would transfer over until I already had purchased the game. I imagine that could be an advertisable feature, but I feel like I never know it until it happens already. Oh, a few hours. Okay, that's like, you're talking about like AAA type game. I have less experience with those ones. The demo to this was maybe like 15 or 20 minutes, I want to say. You're talking about like an RPG or something where the game is like 40 plus hours long or something. Look at this gun, by the way, it's awesome. It's like a ricochet gun. I think it's the best gun in the upgrade in the game, personally. So I'm gonna try not to lose it. Crap, I lost it. Okay, well, and I need to get my heart back or I will die. Oh, I grabbed a guy. What does that mean? Can he take the bullet for me? Let's see. Nope, that is not how that works. I shouldn't have risked it. Oh, you can throw them. Okay. I guess I forgot that from the demo. Oh, it said it's the first time I've ever done that, so maybe they don't teach you that in the demo. Because I just got an achievement for throwing an enemy at another enemy. So maybe that's just something you have to figure out yourself. Back in my day, you found demo and cereal boxes or magazines. I was so jealous of like kids who it was always Sony. PlayStation was so good about having demos, which made sense because discs are so cheap that they could just put out thousands of demos and magazines and cereal boxes and stuff. Obviously, the cartridges were a lot more expensive, so they couldn't just have demos on cartridges. That wasn't like feasible. Too expensive. Because I mostly had Nintendo stuff growing up. And then when the GameCube came out, you would think that maybe they would have did demos, but I don't know. From my experience, Nintendo just did not care for doing like free demo stuff. That was all like a Sony thing. So I had a PS1 when I was really little, and I had at least one demo disc that I just always had, and I remember it being really cool. Like, oh, you get to try out these games. But Nintendo never really seemed to do that. The only time I had like a Nintendo demo was in my Zelda collection, which came with the GameCube. And that was attached to an actual collection of games. It wasn't just like one free demo or whatever. It's kind of a different situation. I have a lot of free Nintendo demo stuff. Twilight Princess trailer on the DS. Trailer? Or like an actual demo? I guess I'm mostly thinking about like the discs that you would find in magazines or cereal boxes, like Double O was saying. But you know what? I never had a Nintendo Power subscription, so maybe Nintendo Power did occasionally give you demo discs and I just didn't know about it. I never had a Nintendo Power subscription. Even though like GameCube games always had like, oh, register this game or register a number of games and you could get a free Nintendo Power subscription. I just never had games like that. Because I was kind of late to getting a GameCube, and then the GameCube games I got usually didn't have that offer because it was usually with like first party Nintendo games, and I guess I just didn't have much of those to begin with, or I would just get used games that didn't have that offer in there. And then crap. And then finally when I started getting games that had that offer, and I think the Wii did it too for a while, Nintendo Power didn't exist anymore. There was one in Nintendo Power for Link's crossbow training. I thought Link's crossbow training just came with the peripheral, the horrible Wii gun peripheral, which I actually do have, and I could play Link's crossbow training with it. It's actually, games are literally better played without the peripheral. It actually makes, I don't know how they designed it to be so bad, but it is really bad. I think they were trying to shy away from putting an actual trigger on it, so it feels less like a gun. This was maybe the idea. It's like not in a place that makes sense. I forgot they called it the Zapper. Because the Zapper was wasn't the Zapper the name of the original Nintendo light gun? Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah, the original light gun for the NES was also called the Zapper, so that was kind of confusing. I guess it's not confusing if you're a kid in the 2000s and you would have no idea what a NES Zapper is, but... Wait, how the hell do I get up there? Oh. There we go. Oops. Yeah, my friend's mom got like a bunch of copies of the Zapper with Link's crossbow training for the Wii, and she gave me one of them. I almost feel like I even ended up with like, I just remember my friend had like multiples. Like, I don't know why she got so many. Didn't make, I don't know. Maybe they were like in a bargain bin because nobody wanted them, and it was Christmas, and she just bought a bunch of them, and I got one of them. You knew what a Zapper was. You watched AVGN. You know what? That's a good point. A lot of people probably learned about the Zapper through AVGN. But when I was little, we had, I always say we or me, my experience playing like Super Nintendo growing up and stuff. I think it was actually like my uncle's Super Nintendo, but I didn't learn that it wasn't my Super Nintendo until like we moved out or he moved out or whatever it was, and the Super Nintendo didn't come with me. So as a kid I was like, oh, my Super Nintendo, but it wasn't mine. But anyways, we had a freaking Super Scope, which was basically the Super Nintendo version of the Zapper, which was like so cool. I think we only had one game for it, and I probably wasn't any good at it. But the whole game was basically just boss fights. You were like, basically it was just like animations of like a robot jumping around, and it was like a boss fight, and you had to like shoot the robot before he killed you. And that was the whole game. I can't remember the name of the game, but it's probably one of like 3 games they ever made for the Super Scope. But I remember that was really cool. I bet Super Scopes are so expensive now. I bet you those are like one of those things that are hard to find. I tried finding a Rob the Robot and a Power Glove at swap meets throughout the like late 2000s to early 2010s, and I could never find one. They just never had them, or out here at least. I always got this feeling that the East Coast had a better like flea market scene for retro games than we did. I don't have any actual evidence of that, but like I would always see videos of people online finding all kinds of stuff. It always seemed like it was East Coast. Japan has an amazing market for retro games. They have so many retro games shops, everything, and they're affordable and cheap, which is it's interesting actually, because if you think about it, so there are way more copies of a game on NES than there is on Famicom. Because, you know, the Famicom's the Japanese version of the NES, and the Super Famicom or the Super Nintendo. There's way more versions of the North American release of the game just because the sheer number of people. Like, North America is just a much bigger market for Japanese game companies than Japan is, even though Japan games are super popular just because we have so many people here. So there's so many more copies of like NES games, but NES games are more valuable than Famicom games. And I think it just boils down to like desirability, like just more people want NES games. Oh, here's a boss fight. Which I guess kind of makes sense, because if there's more people wanting it, people are less likely to want the Famicom versions of the games, I guess. I don't know. I'm not saying there aren't expensive Famicom games, but I think for the most part they're cheaper. Like, I found Splatterhouse Wampaku Graffiti. Also, hey Hedgehog Fanatic, what's up? Only gun game I played was Duck Hunt. Yeah, that was a classic one. Finally got the Keymaster Ice Cream and Idle Skilling. I'm not familiar with that, but that sounds impressive to me, so I will say congratulations. I don't know, it's just interesting how Famicom games are technically more scarce, but they're much less expensive than NES games. At least at this moment. Boss fight, Angry Bones. Okay, we do have an upgrade, so when we die, when we get hit, in fact, we will lose our upgrade, so we gotta be careful. Oh god, I didn't even see him throw that. Holy crap. That was so quick. Oh god. Oh no. Oh no. We gotta get rid of those swords. I like that hitting his head stuns him a bit. Crap, I would love to get that upgrade. Yes, I got it. He's gonna throw his sword? Okay. Figured out. That other gun, that other upgrade I had that I lost, was doing more damage. That's the ricochet gun, which is pretty good. I think we want that. Yeah. Get wrecked. Ooh, look at that 3D background. Alright. It's a self-explanatory game. You idle to strengthen your skills. Ah, okay. I know idle games are pretty popular, like mobile game stuff, right? Like I know there's one where you like collect cats. Okay, we beat World 2. How many worlds does this game have? Can we see? 4, 5. 8, like Mario? Nope, 9. Ooh, there's 9. Alright, so we'll see how far we can get tonight. This might be like a 2-streamer game. So we beat World 2, we're on World 3 now. And what's cool is they had a whole tutorial world and World 1 for the demo. So basically you have 2 whole worlds you could play through in the demo. Pretty good size. I bought a Famicom in 2020. I own several English translated Famicom cards. Oh, that's cool. Used to be seller who would put the English ROM on the actual Famicom cards. Interesting. You know what's a game I saw on eBay? When I used to go eBay hunting for retro games a lot. And I really regret... There's 2 games I really regret not picking up. One was a game called Moon 8. Which was a game designed... I want to make sure I get his name right. Is it Brad Smith? So he composed the entire Dark Side of the Moon album from Pink Floyd on NES hardware, on an actual NES cartridge. And he sold like 100 copies, and that's it. And I missed it. And then I found a copy on eBay one time, and I really, really wanted it, but the price got a bit too high, and I didn't have the money to spend on it. And maybe I could have, but I really didn't want to spend the money. But I kind of regret not getting it, because they're like impossible to find now. And then the other thing I regretted is someone was selling a copy of Resident Evil on NES, which I'm sure was some kind of fan game or mod or something. But it came with a booklet. And I looked at it, and they had gameplay footage and stuff, and it looked interesting. And I would have loved to get that too, but that was another, once again, like the price got too high for my budget. I think many games have 9 worlds because of the fact that it's 1 digit. Oh yeah, might be right. Well, this game actually had a 0 world, so technically it has 10 worlds. Hands above your head, Buster. You shotgun pop man. That's all this hot dog antler guy has to say. That's crazy. I would have had to try that to see what the deal was. The NES Resident Evil. I really wanted it. I really wanted it. It just got too... Really crazy, interesting things used to show up on eBay that I feel like I don't see anymore. Like weird mods and fan-made stuff. I feel like I don't see that. I mean, I'm not on eBay as much nowadays, but when I do check, I never see that kind of thing. That's actually how I found out about the Dark Side of the Moon on NES. I didn't even know that was a thing until I happened to just see a stray cartridge on eBay. And I was like, holy crap, what is this? I tried to get it, but it got too expensive. It might have been like a mod of Sweet Home, that's possible. But I was looking at the footage they showed off, and it looked pretty elaborate. So, if it was, it might have been like heavily modded. It might have, I mean, that's a good chance that it was a mod of something. You know, if even just to get like a nice base to work off of. I have a couple interesting NES games that were like made like way after the NES. You know, like in more recent years, like just people who like making games. Like Lizard NES, it's by the same guy who did the Dark Side of the Moon cartridge, Brad Smith. He made a game just called Lizard for the NES, and it's really, really cool. It's really cool, and it's actually like, I've never played an NES game like it. It's kind of like, if it had come out during the NES time period, it would have been like really groundbreaking, or at least really different. Because in a way, it's almost just like a completely giant open world slash Metroidvania, which I know sounds like, Jay, you should not like that, and you're kind of right, but in the scope of it being an NES game, like it's a really interesting, cool game concept. And I did do a review on it. And he did comment on the review, which I thought was really cool. Oh no, this is like a weird burst fire thing. Crap. I traded my much superior ricochet gun for this. This is one of those games where you could accidentally trade your gun for a worse gun and you don't really realize it until it's too late. I'm gonna be honest, I have a hard time telling the little gun upgrade icons apart from each other. I'm gonna be real with you. Oh no, I missed some enemies there. Hang on. I'm not getting most of the like level challenges because it's like speedrun stuff or don't get hit and all that. But I'm at least trying to kill every enemy because that one's like pretty doable. You just have to take the time to kill them all. No, I've never played Sweet Home. And I think you're right. Yeah, I think there are translations of it. That would be interesting to try out. I tried out Fishing Food and Food Run are popular mobile games, but I think Fishing Food's better since it has more game modes. I've had to pass on games I've really wanted over this year because of the price. Yeah, that sucks. I'm patient and can wait for deals. I always wanted a Box Steel Battalion controller in box. It usually sells for $400+. I found a blue button version in box in great condition for $150. That's awesome, Sleepy. I'm the exact same way. There's a game I'll like want, and I will wait, and I will search, and I will search, and I will search, and I would just, you know, once again, less often nowadays, but that's how I was when I was like hunting for stuff. I would just be real patient, and I would just look, and then just eventually you stumble upon like a really good deal. This guy's kind of a pain in the butt. Oh, here we go. Got his attention. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't want to fall down here. And oh wait, I was gonna go up that way anyways. So I didn't have to take them out on the way down. Definitely still plenty of those old games that are way ahead of their time. Have that Marty McFly, you guys aren't ready for that yet energy. Yeah. A local game store had, I bought it as soon as I saw it and put it in my car and continued to game on it. That's one of the most satisfying, coolest things, which I feel like it's harder to do nowadays, is like treasure hunting for some old, like, just some amazing find. Because nowadays, what happened was, like, people, like, sellers found out, like, oh, some old video game stuff is worth a lot of money. So therefore, all of it must be worth a lot of money. And so they just start overpricing everything. And then the resellers, which I just are some of the worst freaking people out there, like, specifically, like, if you're someone who sells your games because you're selling your games because you're just like, I just don't need this anymore, or I need the money, that's completely understandable. But if you're someone who, like, there are people who would show up at a flea market way early in the morning. Oh no, actually, usually there would be a vendor at the flea market already. So they're already there before the normal people who buy stuff is there. And they'll go around to the other people selling stuff, just normal people, like emptying out their garage or just selling their kids' old stuff after they moved out to college or whatever. And they will go through and scope out and find all these old cool games and they'll buy them for nothing and then resell them the same day within hours for like 10 times the price. Insane. Like, it's so disgusting. I can't, like, there's plenty of times where I'll be like, oh, you know what? Yeah. You know, make your money. You gotta do what you gotta do to make your money. But like, that is like one of the scummiest freaking ways someone can make money. And I think that's different from like, so say you have like a retro game store owner. So like, they obviously have to buy games from people at a cheaper price than they're going to sell them for. That's, you know, that's just how they survive. That's just literally how their shops need to operate. But I don't know, that's different from like, you're hunting at the same place that people are trying to buy from other people just to find some cool stuff. I understand why Nintendo shelved Star Fox 2 when they did, but holy crap, looking back, is basically a blueprint for modern roguelike. Really? That's interesting. It is cool that they did finally release it eventually, even though they kind of released it in a weird place. And that scumbag went on to found stick. Why is that a weird word for me? Found. Yeah, like they're the founder. They went on to found Ticketmaster. Yeah, Ticketmaster is like, it's like reselling scumbaggery on steroids. 100%. Ticketmaster is so out of control. I'm sure you've heard it from tons of people already, but because the thing is, you have the scalpers who already suck. Oh, let's buy up all these tickets for this artist, and then as soon as they go on sale, or whatever event, and then resell them and make money that way. Horrible, horrible. And then Ticketmaster, instead of like, honestly, it should be their duty to like find ways to work, or like to not only discourage but even like protect from that even being possible, and instead they encourage it. And hey, we could make money off of this too, because they figure, why sell tickets once when we could sell them and then sell them again by having official resells of the tickets on our website, and then we charge a fee. It's so disgusting. And then that's not even counting their like disgusting fees, their nothing burger fees that they throw on top of every ticket. So whatever ticket you're buying, there's like 30% Ticketmaster fees. And they try to do some like bullshit where they're like, oh, this explains what all the ticket fee is. Like, no, it doesn't. You could be charging like a 5% fee and you'd be good and you'd be making tons of money, but They're just squeezing as much as they think they possibly can. Ugh. Like, I really hope the bubble bursts for Ticketmaster. Someone has to, like, do something about that. I don't know what, but... Like, legitimately, like, put out a law that says you can only charge this much of a fee or something, and then, like, the reselling stuff, too. I miss early 2000s game hunting. Cheap old games everywhere. I got a Gold Star 3DS for $30. Sega... Oh, 3DO. Okay, cool. Thought that was a typo for 3DS at first. Sega Saturn for $25. Tons of games for various consoles for $1 to $5. Sleepy, I like... Every time I think about when I first started collecting retro games, like when I was a teenager, and I wish I had the money back then. There were so many games I saw for cheap. So many games, and I just could not I just didn't have the money. I was just broke. I had, like, nothing. Like, it sucks. Like, it's not like I'm loaded nowadays, but at least I have spending money I can spend. But now everything's so expensive. It's funny how in movies and games, all the evil megacorps start out as, like, scientific institutions or military contractors, but in real life it's soda companies and ticket sellers. Wait a second, how do we... Ah, there's a switch. Yeah. Okay, that guy just wanted to jump into the laser. But yeah, totally, I totally get what you mean, Sleepy. For a brief window, I was in that period where you could collect games for... Wait, how did I just get hurt? What just hit me? I need to watch the replay. I don't know what YouTube's problem is. It used, like... Oh, there was a bullet that I didn't see, okay. For context, I have the stream page where I see your guys' comments. I could see, like, how many people are watching, how many likes the stream has. There's a little video where I can see my own stream, so I could see what you guys are watching. And it's playing as you guys would see. It's like a little YouTube player. So it's about 5 seconds behind me, usually. So I can, like, if something happens in the game and I want to see, like, oh, I'll, like, go back and I'll look and I'll see what I missed. But within the past, like, month or two, the player has this problem where it like starts to lag behind more and more and more. And so once in a while I have to go back and, like, skip the player forward so I'm, like, closer to where you guys are, and it's really annoying because for years it didn't have that problem, and then who knows what YouTube updated, you know? Today's a rant stream. We're gonna rant about all of our problems, all of our complaints. I started my first job in 2002, so I had spending money. I was in high school, so no real bills. I moved out in 2004, 2 months before graduating high school. Oh, wow. Oh, God. Okay. The big boys take more shots. Oop. Gotta be careful. There we go. Oh, I see. Wait a second. Ooh. There we go. But yeah, collecting. You know what's funny? In Japan, the game collecting scene is still alive and well and feasible to do. It's just too bad we don't live in Japan. And too bad traveling is so expensive. I would go to Japan. Oh crap! I die. I would go to Japan all the time if I could afford it. It's so fun. Like, I could spend just a whole day in like one video game store probably, like, because they have so many. They're just so dense. There's so much stuff to just look through, and that's just one thing to do. Obviously, if you're into like anime, if you're like a weeb, that's another great thing about Japan. That's the funny thing. So I've been to Japan twice now, and I'm not even really like a weeb type of person, but I mean, I guess that you don't necessarily need to be to visit, but it probably would be one of the reasons you'd want to go. Oh, there goes that guy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Oh, I lost my gun upgrade. Please, heart, I need you. There we go. No! Crap! I don't even know if I could get that. Like, I think it slowly comes to you. Let's see. Come on. Yeah. It's just if you get hit while you're waiting for your heart, then you're dead. That's the thing. That's where they get you. But you know what? If you're like truly into like old games of a certain console or whatever, it does feel like at a certain point they probably will get cheaper again. I just feel like that maybe not all of them, but I feel like a lot of things are priced the way they are because of nostalgia. So once that demographic is replaced by like a younger demographic, it kind of changes what the desired collectible is. So like if you're really truly into NES games and it's not just, you're not just trying to like get what's popular at the moment or whatever, there probably will come a time where they will be cheaper again. Like Atari games aren't particularly valued like that, and that's really just like a one generation behind NES. And I guess you could argue there's different reasons for that, like maybe Atari games are just a little less interesting for the average person because there's just a little less, there's a little more depth to NES games. It's kind of a turning point for games where it's less about just playing on a single screen and getting a high score, and it started becoming more about these like artistic endeavors or like storytelling and stuff like that. So you could argue that's part of it, but I don't. I feel like at a certain point, you know. Look at that pseudo reference. YouTubers should not be allowed to be nostalgic. If they lovingly cover an old game, it can cause prices to spike. That's true. Which is really funny in the case of like AVGN, where he would review a really bad game and literally talk about how bad it is, and then people would want to buy it. And I can actually say I might be guilty of that. But sometimes, like, someone will give a bad review of a game, and I'll say, you know what? This actually looks like interesting or it looks like I could somehow enjoy this. I think there's sometimes you see a bad game and you're like, okay, yeah, that looks, I would never want to play that ever. Like Superman 64, I don't think there's no enjoyment to be found out of Superman 64. That game is just so awful in so many ways. But whoa, this is a new gun. Look at this. I'm like shooting out a bunch of tiny projectiles. But then you have something like AVGN, a really famous AVGN episode of Silver Surfer, and he talks about how horrible he hates it. One of the and I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I feel like I could like that. And I don't even think Silver Surfer is like a bad game. I think it's actually really fun. It's just really hard. Crap. Okay. I need to get up to one of those platforms. This is actually a bad sub gun to have for this level because it destroys more things than you want to necessarily destroy right now. They probably did that on purpose. With some streamers, the quality of the game doesn't really matter as long as they have enough material to play off of. Yeah, that's true. I mean, when it comes to streaming, it's like how entertaining is it to play? So yeah, bad games can be entertaining for that purpose. Like, it might be entertaining to watch me play Superman 64, maybe. I don't know. Some games are so bad in a bad way that they aren't even entertaining to watch or play. Some games are good, but they're not really entertaining to watch. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know. Like, I feel like, personally, watching someone play, like, a really long, grindy RPG, like, to me, that's not interesting. Even like Pokemon, like I don't know if Pokemon is considered a particularly long game. To me, it's like on the longer end from what I know of it. But whenever I hear like, and I know Pokemon is popular for people to watch, but whenever like, say there's a YouTuber or a streamer that I'm interested in, anytime they have a Pokemon playthrough, I'm not interested in that. It just, I don't know. To me, it's just like you're watching them kind of just do the same thing so much. I know the whole game isn't the same thing, but... And I feel like if I was a streamer, I couldn't even make that interesting. Because it's like, well, I'm fighting a Gyarados again. I don't know. Sometimes a bad game that shouldn't be entertaining to watch play can be if the person playing it somehow is able to master it a little bit. I think that was with Sub-Zero Mythologies. The Sub-Zero Mythologies is a miserable game to play. And if you're playing that for the first time especially, I think it's going to be horrible to watch someone play because they're going to be so stuck and just like wasting so much time, not knowing what to do and dying so much. And I lost my heart. I can't even go back for it. Oh, hang on. It does like slowly come to you. I had enough experience with Mythologies that I was able to play through it well enough that it made for an okay stream. AVGN also exaggerated at times about how bad some of the games were. He's playing the nerd character, not himself. That's true, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's even said that sometimes, that like he did a review on Street Fighter 2010, and he's playing up the parts that he hated, but I think even in the video sometimes you can tell that he didn't always completely hate the games. I could tell when I watched his Street Fighter 2010 video, oh, that actually looks like a pretty cool game. I think I would like it. And so I got it, and sure enough, it's a really cool NES game. It's a really unique and cool NES game. It's just weird that it's called Street Fighter 2010 when it really has nothing to do with Street Fighter. And it came out before Street Fighter 2, so it's not even like they were playing off of the popularity of Street Fighter 2. But in fact, you did have a good point. Turn-based games do give downtime for chat engagement, and sometimes with streamers, I guess a lot of the time, a lot of time a streamer's audience is there for the streamer no matter what they're playing. It's really just all about the streamer. I think personally I would like a balance. Obviously it's very humbling and awesome when the people watching you is invested in your content because of you, because they like how you do it. But I do feel like that also opens the door for the dreaded parasocial stuff, which I'm lucky that I'm not like a big channel that has to deal with that kind of thing. But it is a scary concept. It's not even necessarily has to be a scary thing as in like, oh, the person is crazy and they think you're their friend and they're gonna stalk you. It's just you just get like people who just don't know any better. They just it's not always necessarily that they're a bad person. Sometimes they're just kids too. My streams are, I would recommend, I don't think kids, I think you need to at least be a certain age to even chat on a stream. I don't think like 10-year-olds should be even chatting on streams, to be honest, personally. Wow, this part. Oh, I need to just make the path before I start jumping. Okay. I got overzealous jumping for that gun. Oh, but now I have nowhere to... Okay. Crap. Hang on. I think I survived this time. I need to wait for my heart. What happens if you leave without your heart? Let's see. Oh, I'm stupid. That was clearly not... Oh boy. I'm a fool. Did it checkpoint? Nope. Okay. I enjoy your relaxed streams, Jay. You become one of my faves. I appreciate that, Sleepy. Thank you. And I appreciate that I see you in the stream very often. Because, you know, streams take up a lot of time for viewers. Like, I rarely sit and watch a stream for hours. Like, it's just... If there's someone I know, I like, or whatever, I'll like, join for a bit. But it's like, that's a lot to ask for. That's why, you know, I can't get upset when people join a stream and they say hi and then I don't hear from them again, because it's like, well, I can't just expect them to sit here all the time. It's cool when they do. You can't just expect that all the time. And I know a lot of people will watch streams and not even comment. So sometimes there's people watching and there's probably people who watch my streams fairly frequently who have never commented, because I know I'm like that. I rarely ever comment on things I watch all the time, so I'm sure there's other people doing that. In fact, how many weaknesses have you learned so far? I had a buddy who used to have a YouTube gaming channel. A fan of his channel tracked his home down from one of his videos using Google Maps. There was a game convention in town, so he aimed to his... See, that's scary. He ended up being harmless and wanted to see his collection and hang out, but that's a scary situation. Yeah, see, that's the problem where on one end it's like, okay, thankfully they didn't have bad intentions, but at the same time there's a real problem when they don't realize that that is really overstepping your bounds. You know, I try to be careful about not revealing too much of my own personal information. Like, way ahead of the time, like, I will probably never be a popular streamer. That's just, statistically, that's probably never going to happen, and that's fine. But you never know. So I've tried to be careful right from the start, where like I don't want to give too much information away, because you never know. I mean, that everyone should be like that on the internet anyways, even if you're not a content creator. Even if you're just someone who uses the internet, it's just a good idea to not go around telling everybody everything about yourself. I think that's just part of being computer literate, I guess, or internet literate. I met a friend from YouTube and his wife stayed with me for a night, but we planned it out. No, see, that's cool. Like, if you actually have a friend, an online friend, and you've known them for a while, and you know they're cool, and you plan it out, that is totally... I've literally done that. Most of my friends I've met from the internet. Oops. I have friendships that are over a decade long at this point that I've met with. My friend who I visited earlier this year and made music with, we made that EP with, I've met him from the internet, and I've known him for over a decade. And I met with him multiple times. Like, that's cool. As long as, you know, you have a good enough judgment of character, I guess, and you know who you're meeting up with, is for sure. Still be careful. Still, even if you've known someone for a while, still be careful. Because it's hard for some people to really pick up on red flags, I guess. And it's not, you know, it's not their fault. Sometimes it's difficult to tell. That's another scary thing, because it doesn't have to be if you're popular or not. All it takes... Yeah. Definitely. It's more likely to happen if you're popular, but it could happen to anybody. I mean, that's literally just like an ex stalking their ex. That's literally... You're one person popular. One person is an obsessed fan with you, and it's your ex. That's all it takes. Oh no! That was close. Oh no! I need my heart. And there's also, it's also like, it doesn't take much for people to perceive your actions or words as a slight against them. Which is unfortunate, but like I've obviously not had problems with like stalkers or anything like that, but you know, occasionally I've had, like, it hasn't happened in a while, but you'd have someone who joins the stream and they're spamming it and they're just harassing your stream. And I'm honestly shocked that they bothered with my streams, because it's such a small channel. And it's just like, look at how much effort they're putting in. And what I do is I just don't give them any attention, because that's what they want. They want you to react to what they're doing. And so I will just literally not acknowledge it, and that seems to usually take care of it. Crap. Oh, I got the heart back. I got it back again. No. Crap. No. I die. That's why big YouTubers use PO boxes for gifts. Don't want to... Yeah, PO boxes are good for that. I've used PO boxes, you know, just getting to know people who have offered to send me stuff. Even if I've known someone for a bit, I've used PO boxes. I try to even be careful in that sense. Whoops. You know, nothing against anyone I might have done that with, but you know, that's just part of being careful on the internet, I guess. Oops. It's funny how they checkpoint you with like a certain amount of people killed, so you don't have to redo the whole thing, I guess. This game's pretty generous with its checkpoints. If only they gave them guns something that helped distinguish them more, like a single big letter. Wait, what? Oh, the guns. Yeah. So I could tell what gun was what. Yeah, honestly, I think the game could genuinely benefit from that. Yeah. Some unknown silent attractive hero will ban them from the chat. Exactly. I will not acknowledge the spammer, and the unknown silent attractive hero will ban them from the chat. Exactly right. Whoever that may be, because I have so many mods, you know, it could be any of them, really. Thankfully, we haven't even had to do that in a while. Sometimes I think it's literally just, like, dumb kids. Like, there was this one, I swear it was just a kid. It was just like a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old or something. Because they kept saying that Mario was a baby game and I should play a, like, more mature games. Like Grand Theft Auto or something. And that's just something like a 13-year-old would say. Like, they would think a Mario is a baby game. Like, at a certain point you grow up and you're like, oh. That's a dumb way to think. I've occasionally gotten... This isn't even harassment, but just like on a review, I'll get a comment that is just really, really hates the fact that I criticized a game they like. And I usually really try my best to be open-minded, and I would even say optimistic when it comes to even games I don't like. I try to usually find something nice to say about them, like, this is a really cool idea, it just didn't work, or like, oh, if they did this, I think this could have really turned out good. Or even like, I like that they did this, but then like, I'm, you know, critiquing the game the rest of it. There was a comment on the Sub-Zero Mythology review saying, like, completely ignoring all the points I was making and just saying that I'm bad at the game or something. I don't remember. But once in a while it's funny, you just get comments of people who just, it doesn't matter how nice you say something or how many good points you bring up or whatever. It doesn't matter. If you don't like the thing they like, then they don't like you. This is an interesting boss. Uh-oh. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop! I like that this game has bosses. I feel like these types of games don't usually have bosses, so I like that this one does. Weird to think about some kids learning computer stuff from building a chat spam bot. Yeah. Yeah, kids are very, very computer literate nowadays. Like, the average kid, it's like the same kids that you see like you see boomers talk about how they're geniuses because they know how to use an iPad or something. It's like when I was growing up, you could like trick little kids into thinking they were playing a game or something, or distracting them with something, with like some kind of device, so they're stuck on the one thing because they don't know how to change it. But nowadays, 3-year-olds know how to control F, whatever. They know how to alt control delete. They know how to change programs. They know how to download stuff. Like, you can't really do that anymore. But yeah, this sign can't stop me because I can't read. But instead, your video can't convince me otherwise because I didn't watch it. Exactly. Yay, we beat World 3. The funny thing too is, like, they probably found the review because it's a game they like. I mean, that's how I've stumbled upon a lot of stuff. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You shotgun cop, man. That's all the hot dog antler says. I've done that where it's like, huh, I haven't seen a video on Killer 7 in a while, let me look it up. And then I find a video on Killer 7, and half the time I regret looking for it. Because it's somebody who doesn't know how to play the game or something, or they just completely, I don't know. So I kind of understand the feeling, but if I'm watching a thing and someone brings up all these points of why they do or don't like something, I could at least appreciate that they put thought into it and they're giving me reasons. Versus someone just completely being dumb and giving bad excuses or not giving excuses at all. Like, that's... These guys just have stop signs. Is this like a construction worker enemies or something? You know what's a valid criticism they could have given my Sub-Zero review? You didn't finish the game. And that's true. And I do regret that. That's one of my biggest regrets. Because that was back when I maybe was a little less determined to make sure I would play through an entire game to finish the end before I review it. But also, like, I had played through it before, so I kind of knew what there was. And I was recording footage for the game. And this was not on emulator. This was on my actual N64 playing through Sub-Zero Mythology, so like I couldn't like give myself like convenient checkpoints or anything like that. It's very, very unfair game when it comes to that stuff. And it's just a miserable game to play, and I was just sinking hours into it at playing. I just got sick of it after a while, and I was like, I just need to... I think that was a year where I was trying to do one review every month also, and I had to make sure I had enough time to actually write the script and record it and edit it. So at a certain point I just had to stop. They're strange lollipop wizards with hard hats. Or are they wearing pointy hats? I'll have to look more closely. So I did regret not finishing that for the review, but I did kind of redeem myself. I did a stream of Sub-Zero Mythologies, and I did play through the entire game. And I want to say we did the PS1 version, because I never got to play the PS1 version, because that has actual live-action cutscenes. Another thing that makes the N64 version of the game even worse is that instead of live-action cutscenes, it just has still images with text, and it's just... You at least get to laugh at the poorly acted, low-budget cutscenes in the PS1 version, but you don't even get that in the N64 one. I think if a game gives you that sensation, it tells you all you need to know to make a review, so long as you're honest about it and what made you want to dip. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got that across in the video. I prefer to play games I enjoy and ditch ones I find bad or boring. That's just probably the best way to play games. I definitely have a problem where I will get invested in finishing a game even if I am not enjoying myself. If I commit to it. Especially if I'm like already like almost at the end. I've had games where I've definitely had games I've dropped. And sometimes they're not even bad games. Like, what games have I dropped? Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't. But I know that I have. Doc's about to bring up every game of his he suggested that I dropped right now. Unfortunately, I love and am fascinated by garbage, so I will often play games past the point that they're actively harming me. Okay, so in fact, every time you try to get me to stop playing a game that I'm clearly miserable at, part of that is like you empathizing with me because you know what it's like. And you're trying your best to stop me from suffering the same way. Oh hey all Chivos. Is that a new game? Oops. Yeah, I did it. The only one I could think of off the top of my head was Omori, but you've stated a few times that you wouldn't mind picking it back up. Oh, okay. Well, the main reason I stopped Omori, because I did drop it for a while, and I got back to it, then I dropped and got back to it. The only reason I stopped the last time I stopped is because specifically the person who requested the game, who is a friend that I know in real life, they wanted to come and watch me. They wanted to be there for me to play the next part of the game. Which they've never been on a stream before. I feel like they probably would be fine. I don't think it would. I feel like they're mature enough, it wouldn't be a problem. I've definitely had people, like friends I have that I would not have on a stream just because they're like wild cards, or you don't know what's, I don't know. But I think they would be okay. But it just never, like, they haven't had, we've never planned it out for them to come over while on a stream night and stream it with me. It just hasn't happened yet. It literally was, we had it planned and we were going to do it and they were about to come over, and then what happened? I think my internet went out or something. My internet went out, or the power went out, and literally just God said, not today. The god of electricity. So that wasn't even like me just dropping it. I was just waiting for that. And I do like Omori. I think one of, oh crap. I didn't even realize what I was supposed to be doing there, but at least I didn't die completely. Omori's a pretty fun game. It has an interesting story. It has fun characters. I like the art and the music. But it is a little dense compared to the games I usually play. There's a lot of reading, which I know I technically don't have to read, but I like reading. What is that? Oh, I get more jumps. That's new. Cool. I like that they're still introducing new mechanics. Yeah, it's a really dense game. And I do not have powerful vocal cords like some people do. Some streamers, like, they have really strong voices and they can talk really loudly for long periods of time, and I am not that kind of person. I don't raise my voice very often, so I just literally, my vocal cords are not designed to be used that much for that long, if that makes any sense. I think I've gotten a little bit better because of the streams. I used to have games where after the stream I would literally, I would be losing my voice. But that actually hasn't happened in a while, so I do think it's helped a bit. Because I'm just not a super loud talkative person in real life, unless I'm like hanging out with friends or something. I know Ghost of Tsushima, you only dropped that one because you were renting it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a fun one. At the same time, those are games where I'm not like chomping at the bit to continue. It's not like, oh, I gotta continue that one day. The more, you know, but at the same time, I wouldn't, like you said, I wouldn't mind continuing them, or I would be interested. Ghost of Tsushima, I kind of am like really forgotten the story and everything. But I think at the same time, it's a pretty basic story. It's like, your father's been kidnapped. He gave himself up because of some kind of like territorial dispute or some kind of something involving a rival. And so you're trying to get to him to rescue him. Is that about right? I think there was like a war going on or something. Oh look, we got all the achievements on that one. I bet there are some vocal exercises singers do that could help. You're probably right, and I kind of wish I could do that. I feel like I would want to soundproof my room though, because I live with other people, and it would be awkward kind of like being loud, that loud. Maybe if I went in the garage or something. But you're probably right, and I've thought about that because I like to perform music and I like singing, but I definitely, one of my weaker points as a singer is definitely the power level of my voice. I don't have a very powerful voice. And with some bands that's songs types, that's okay. There's a lot of types of bands where they basically just sing, they like mumble and stuff. I think shoegazer bands are very much like that. I wish I could think of an example off the top of my head. But I'm sure you've all heard like a song where the singer's basically just like singing under their breath. But it's good to have variety, and sometimes you want to make music. You don't want to. Sometimes you want to make different kinds of music. Does your family know about your YouTube channel yet? That's a good question. And I would say the answer is not really. And kind of by design. I usually like to keep my online activities private. Not like I'm like doing anything sketchy, but I don't know. I've just always been kind of a private person, so I kind of just keep. I mean, it's such an innocent thing. It's just like, oh yeah, I have a YouTube channel, but I don't know. Why did I go back this way? I don't know. It's almost similar to being careful about sharing too much info with people online, because most people probably aren't going to do anything with that info, but all it takes is one person to misuse that info. And you could say the same thing about family. Maybe most of your family wouldn't be a problem. Oh, you could shoot through the tubes, that's cool. But what your whole family knows, and then they bring it up at a gathering or something, and then other people know, and then suddenly people that you'd rather didn't know. You know what I mean? So that's probably honestly why I try to kind of keep that private. Oops. Oh, they tricked me. Wrong tube. This is your work, there are trade secrets you gotta protect. Exactly. My family knows about my YouTube channel, but they don't watch it. Well, you have a nice... Oh, hang on. That's a nice situation where like it would be good to know that no one would even bother to look into it. I also don't know if, like, to me it's really that much, it's really much worth showing off. Um, it'd be, I don't know, if I was like a big time streamer and that's literally how I had made my career, that might be a different situation where it's like, well, this is literally how I make my living. But it's different when it's like, I love having a channel and I love streaming for you guys and making reviews because it's just like creatively, it feels satisfying, and I also really like getting to interact with other people and share my thoughts and stuff on the games with them and that kind of thing. But it's not something that the average person would be like, oh, you put how many hours of your life into this channel that doesn't really get that much views or whatever. So it's like, I appreciate it, and I think that's why I do it, and I've done it for so long, but it's not something that I feel like is really cool or impressive to show a lot of people. What is this? Is it a key? What? It's like what is it called? Crawl? It's like the blade, it's like it's the weapon from Crawl. Is that the name of that movie? Oh, but it is a key. Wife, son, and parents know, but that's it for my family. Most people I know aren't really into video games, so they would be bored with my gaming channel. Yeah, that's true. I mean, games are more popular than ever, but for the most part, the average person isn't like that invested in them. I think even the average like gamer is really not gamer, but like average person who plays games is probably just, they get Call of Duty when it comes out, they get Madden when it comes out, and that's about it. I do think a lot of people are probably in that category. Nothing wrong with that, you know, if that's what you like, that's what you like, but like, there's obviously difference between someone where that's all they play and do, and someone who's like excited about, they follow this specific gaming studio, or that's cool. This is a cool mechanic. You know, someone who's more invested in it as like a hobby. Yeah, creative satisfaction. I'm definitely a person, like, I'm definitely a person. I don't think everyone needs to be like this, but I am a person that I feel like I need creative outlets to feel fulfilled. Like, whether that's making music, or making game reviews, or anything, you know, like just something creative. I need that to me. If I don't do that, I feel I don't feel good. It's healthy part of a Jay's diet, because he needs creative outlets. So don't feed him after midnight, and make sure he has creative outlets. I'm pretty sure I'm a person. Most are casual gamers. Several of my employees that I manage are casual gamers, not hardcore like myself. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, everybody has their hobbies. I've like messed around with making like short film type stuff. I mean, that's one of the things I like about game reviews. Not all of them are like that, and not all the ones I make are like that. But making game review videos does give you a platform to do short film type content. So once in a while, you know, Or even just like skits, short film. Reviews are a cool avenue. Because I like how flexible they are. Sometimes a review could literally just be a review. Sometimes it could be a skit. It's really skit focused. So throughout the video, half of the time I'm talking about the game, maybe half the time it's some skit going on. And everything in between, basically. Can't forget about Walter and Kevin visits, yeah. As long as they're behaving themselves. There was some kind of market analysis thingy that was done recently that talked about the average number of games people buy in a year, and it was less than 1. Wow. Well, a lot of casual gamers probably don't buy games, right? They probably play free games on their phone. So that does make sense. Ouch. So you can even play games without buying them. Honestly, this channel and the streams especially kind of saved my relationship with video games. I think I've talked about this before, but I had a long period of time where I had a lot of difficulty finding the motivation to even play a game. And I'm someone who was heavily into video games ever since I could remember. Like, I was at most like age like 3 when I first like started playing video games. And it was just something that was very, very immersive for me, and I was like obsessed with them, and I loved video games, and I was known as by family members like, oh, he plays video games, that's what he does. And you know, I got a bit older, and you know, I would prefer to just play video games than go outside a lot of the time and do other stuff. But as I got older, and then I started like, oh, you can also play video games with other people, or you could watch people play games, or they could watch you play games. And then at a certain age, I want to say like maybe middle school going into high school, I started having a harder and harder time really getting invested in playing games. Where, I don't know, just sitting down and playing a game by myself was difficult to do, because like I think at a certain point I wanted to play games. I wanted to experience it with other people. Kind of to a degree where it's a problem. You could call it like a codependency. What's going on? Okay. So how do I hit that from here? I don't think it reaches. What do you want me to do right now? Very strange. Maybe... No, I can't go fast enough. Huh. Very weird. Oh, Fortnite, yeah. My wife wants to steal Walter. She tries to my buddy Pod's kitties as well. I'm going to get us a couple of cats here in the next couple of years. Oh, that's cool. I don't know if she'd want Walter if she knew how much of a handful he was, though. He's a very needy dog. feel like I'm missing something here. It's very strange. Get up here. So there has to be a way to hit it from here. Crap. But anyways, what I was getting at earlier is, they want me to use this specific gun because it has the scope on it. But I can't reach the button. Yep. But what I was saying was, there we go. Jeez. That was difficult. I kind of got to a point where I was codependent on, like, I needed to experience games with other people. It was hard for me to just sit down and play a game by myself because, I don't know. I just had this desire of, like, other people seeing what's happening alongside me. So streaming almost seemed like an obvious thing, like, oh, well, of course, if you want that, you should stream, but, the problem with that is that, like, I'm not a really extroverted person. And I don't mean extroverted in the sense, I think a lot of people they don't really know what it means to be introverted or extroverted. Introverted doesn't mean you don't like going out and hanging out with people, or you don't like interactions. It just means that it's draining to do that. Like, being introverted just means it takes a lot of energy to interact with people or be around people. That's all that means. It doesn't mean you hate it, because a lot of people think introverted means you never want to go out and do stuff. You never want to hang out with other people. Like, but that's not, maybe some people that's true, but that's not what being introverted means. It just means it uses a lot of energy. Whereas extroverted people gain energy from being around other people. Wait a second, what am I doing? Oh, I could drop through the ground. That's weird. Yeah, witness me. That's what I wanted. So I didn't know if I could stream. And then also, I'm not like hyperactive, wacky, high energy like a lot of streamers are, and that's what a lot of people look for in streamers. And like really playing up reactions and whether there's any degree of realism to that or not, or like sincerity or not, and maybe sometimes there is. I just can't do that. I can't act high energy and pretend or just be that way for that forever. So I didn't know if I could do it, but then I was like, you know what? Let's give it a try. And it was very difficult for a while. Like, I would finish a stream and I would just be exhausted. And sometimes I still am, depending on the game, but I just mean like every time, like it would just be like so draining to do. And like very stressful too. You're worrying about, I'm live right now, so I don't, if I make a mistake, or if I say the wrong thing, or if the stream's not working, or if I have to pause and leave for a bit, and I used to get so stressed out about all that stuff. And now it's like, it's a lot better. So it still takes energy to do a stream, but I'm definitely a lot more used to it. So if I could get used to it, I know a lot of people who maybe don't think they could. I think they could. I'm holding a person? I didn't realize that. Crap. No, my heart. They fell to their doom. No, my heart. Crap. And then we have to find the right tube at the end too, or what? Okay, I found the right tube. So I think it's just the farthest one to the right. Oh, they just show you which one to go in. I was wrong. Yeah, streams are cool. Part of me is a little sad that the streams became more prevalent than the reviews. Oh, boss. Angry Robe. But, cause I would say I'm more proud of the reviews because they take more work, and it's kind of what I wanted to do more to begin with. But it's not like the streams and reviews can't coexist. It's just reviews are just take so much time and work and focus. And streams take a lot of time and work and focus, but it's something that once you got it going, you're doing it, and that's it. Whereas reviews have so many parts to it, so many steps to it. And until you've done one yourself, I feel like it's hard to really... And people do different kinds of reviews too. And nothing against any of the other kinds of reviews that aren't like my kind of reviews. But I do think my type of reviews also take a little more time when it comes to the editing. Because there are a lot of reviewers, and once again, there's nothing wrong with this, it's just a style of it, where most of their review is kind of in the writing, so they're basically explaining everything. Like, you could basically listen to the video and you would understand 99% of the review, but then they'll kind of use background game footage that's kind of, maybe it's representative of what they're talking about, but a lot of the times it's kind of just footage of the game that could kind of fit in a lot of places. I have this thing where, like, I feel like some of my reviews are more in depth than others. Some of them aren't even really reviews. A lot of the times it's literally just, here's my experience with the game. That's it. But I think we'll do one more world, and then we'll finish the game in another stream. Can't escape the long arm of the law. You shotgun cop. But anyways, my reviews, whether as in-depth or not in-depth as they are, what the hell is that? It's a shadow clone of me. They rely a lot on the footage. Like, I do a lot of, like, I do a lot of specific examples that I want to show you. So it's like, this part of the game is like this because of this. And then it's very important that you see exactly what I'm talking about. Or even when I'm just talking about, like, any little thing, I like to show on screen exactly what I'm talking about. Because for me, it makes the video so much easier to follow and also get my idea across more clearly when you can clearly see what it is that I'm trying to say. So, but because of that, the editing process takes way longer than if I was to just, oh, I'm talking about the gameplay, so just show whatever, just pick a random clip and show gameplay. Or pick something that fits well enough, or that kind of thing. Sometimes I'll be stuck on like, I'll be stuck for like half an hour, not all that often, but like once in a while, I'll be stuck for like half an hour trying to find the exact right footage of the thing that I'm trying to talk about. And it's like I'm skimming through hours and hours of footage. And I'm like, oh, I know this happened at some point. And that's one of the things that takes so long. But fun fact, I know I've been so scarce with my reviews. I actually have 2 reviews that were in production, different stages of production that stopped. One of them would take quite a bit of work to get back into it. Yeah, that one would take quite a bit. The other one, I think if I got back into it, I would be able to, it wouldn't take as much. It would still take a little bit, but I think it would be pretty doable. It would probably be a smaller review, but it's something. I was actually thinking about maybe trying to get back into that this month. That's one of the biggest tips I hear about recording gameplay for edited content. Record in short bursts and label everything. Yeah. The only thing with the short bursts is then you have so many clips. The record everything is a great tip. Sometimes what I do, sometimes when as I'm writing a review, I'll watch through my own footage on like wherever it is, and then when I see something that makes me say something, I'll say, okay, I look at the timestamp and I write down the timestamp. I've been trying to do that more and more lately. Like in the last video I uploaded, I had a few timestamps where I was like, okay, this is where I mention this. This is the thing I mentioned, rather. And yeah, that does help a lot. Some games are also just inherently easier to find footage of than others. Or some reviews. Like if it's a style of review where I'm going through the game from beginning to end, step by step, it's going to be a lot easier to find footage for that than if it's a game where first I go over the graphics, then I go over the story. Like those types of games, reviews are more difficult because you're having to, it's not linear. Non-linear reviews are a lot more difficult to skim through. Alternatively, one thing I've seen is just stop recording after anything particularly interesting or noteworthy. That way you know it's at the end of the clip. That's true. That's a good point. I tend to try to do things like while I can. Because that's another thing, is motivating yourself to even do the thing is a whole other beast. So if I'm sitting there and I am recording narration, for instance, for a review, I usually try to do it all. If I have all of the script written, I try to record all of the script in that session, because I'm doing it already. I'm in a comfortable position to do it. Either like I'm motivated to do it. Sometimes I can't record because there's too much noise going on because I live with other people. Sometimes I'm just feeling a little too self-conscious and I don't feel like talking loud because I feel like people will hear me. And it's hard, sometimes it's hard to motivate yourself for that reason. So if I'm already in the middle of recording and I'm just doing it, it's like, okay, I gotta do it all. But that's different. Recording gameplay, at least you can do that very inconspicuously. Probably the most inconspicuous, one of the most inconspicuous things. Each step has its own difficulties for different reasons. Writing the script is very... Writing the script... The hardest part about that is starting the script. I'm sure you've heard that from so many people. I think that just writing in general, that's the hardest thing is starting. But I don't know, I have this problem where like I don't have an organized method for making videos and reviews. You think I would. I've literally been doing this for over 10 years at this point, which is insane to think about. You'd think I would have a method. Like, here's how you start the script of a review. You've been doing this for how long? I don't. I do not have a writing method. It's... In fact, every time I start a new review, it's usually been long enough that I have to like relearn how to make a review, I feel like. And that's probably another reason why there are so many different varieties of review. I've gone back and watched reviews of mine that are so like, feel so in depth, and I'm like, wow. This is a new mechanic too. You shoot and the spikes come and go. I'm like, what the heck? I wrote that? What the hell? How did I even come up with that? And then I have other reviews where it's literally just, I'm just like, here's the game. Here's level 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, thanks for watching my video. And in some cases I'm okay with that because I think that sometimes that's just what the video is I'm literally just acting out my first experience with the game. But sometimes it's also like, maybe I could have said something more compelling or interesting and I didn't. But I know that I'm capable of doing it because I've had videos where I've done that. I was watching my Reservoir Dogs review the other day. While I was in the middle of working on the review that just came out, sometimes that happens. I'll try to like, I go to another review for one reason or another, and then I'm watching something from it for something, and I don't remember. Maybe I'm trying to find some footage or something. And then sometimes I get distracted and start watching my own video. It's really silly. And I'm like, what the hell? This is a good review. How did that happen? I wrote this? Like, I think the haunted PS1 demo discs are a lot more surface level for the most part. And I think it's just the sheer number of demos is I can't put the same amount of time into each one and really talking about each one in depth. But at the same time, like, I like them, but they're definitely more surface level. And I think my best reviews probably aren't the surface level ones. You telling me a J fried this review? Exactly. pretty proud of the Clay Fighter reviews, especially the N64 games, because I go into the whole interplay debacle. I don't even know what to call that. It's crazy, and I don't think enough people know about what the hell's going on with that. Where all of these IPs are just being held hostage by an actual madman, an actual crazy person. What's interesting is I have screenshots in that video where in one of the several attempts of Clay Fighter getting resurrected by the current guy who owns it, he's pretty much just scamming. Every time it's just I don't even know if it's a scam. I don't even think I don't even think he's smart enough to scam. I think he's just crazy and stupid, because he'll literally like get a dev team to start working on a new game or a remaster or a collection or whatever, and then he won't pay them, and then it doesn't get finished, and then that's it. It's like, well, you didn't make any money off of that. You just wasted people's time. But anyway, there were posts, anonymous posts by one of the devs on one of the failed projects, and you know it was legit because he posted actual unreleased images of like high quality Clay Fighter assets, and it's super fascinating. And he's talking about like the crazy dude who, all the stuff he did and why it didn't work, and it's fascinating. And I remember trying to find the thread, and I think it's gone. I think that person, not the person, but I think the page where that was posted, I think the website, to be fair, I think it was one of those, the Chans, and I know that's a really sus website, but sometimes you find stuff like that. Sometimes people be posting crazy, interesting stuff. I don't frequent those things, but that's just happened. I was looking for Clay Fighter stuff, and that's where I stumbled upon that. Yeah, I think I might be the archive for that thread where that person posted that information. I don't know if anyone else has saved it, because I was screenshotting stuff. In fact, didn't you have like a review? I forget. I feel like you maybe mentioned you wanted to try doing a review or something. I know you've done some videos. I know you've done like tutorial videos. I remember that. Or playthrough guides. But I feel like maybe you mentioned wanting to try doing that at some point. I think Sword also has like a whole script for Skyward Sword, a Skyward Sword video, if I remember correctly. If they wanted to, I could narrate their Skyward Sword video, and I'll just pitch my voice to sound different. Not because I'd be embarrassed or anything, but just because, like, I feel like it would be confusing if my voice was narrating someone else's review just straight up, and it was like, but it's not my words. I feel like I would have to make some kind of change. If you did do a review, do you have any idea of what you would like to review? Ouch. Like, have you thought like, oh, I have a lot to say about this particular game. Crap. Oh, I must have just got my heart back. No. Well, this room is dangerous. I mean, I still remember what inspired me to do my first review finally was Pickmaster, just because I was like, wow, this is a interesting NES game that I've never heard anyone mention before. More people should know about this. That was it. I wanted to do reviews before that, but that was what finally pushed me. I think that, and I had a capture cheap, really low quality capture card at the time, but I had a capture card too, so I was like, I think I had done some J plays before that too, so I did do some Let's Plays for a couple years maybe before my first review. So that's probably actually around the time I got my capture card. Oops. Sword and I have talked about collaborating to make the whole process less daunting. That would be cool. And like I said, like I know I talk about how I don't know what I'm doing, but if you had any questions, I would totally be down to give any advice I could give. It would be a big undertaking since I'd need to find some way to capture the footage well enough. But the world ends with you on DS and its ports. Since that game's so influential on you. See, what I would actually... I don't know. This could just be me. But you might remember how it took me so long to review Killer 7 because it's such a beloved game for me that it was intimidating to even begin to try to do a video on it. And you know, different people are different. Some people, maybe the first game they do is like their favorite game ever because they're just so passionate they're able to overcome that fear, that intimidation rather. But for me personally, it might be easier to make your first project less of an undertaking. Just so that you can like at least be like, okay, I can do this, and it gives you some practice. That's just my first advice. Would be, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right advice, but that's what I would think. But that is a game you'd have a lot to say about. I understand. A lot harder to think of games you only kind of want to talk about. Sure. Maybe smaller scope games. I know you've told me in the past that Portal 1 to you is the perfect video game. That could be a good, like a video on why Portal 1 is the perfect video game. It's not a super long game, so getting the footage when it take too much time. And even like scrubbing through for editing, you know, less footage, the easier that is. And I don't know. So that's just an idea off the top of my head because I know you've mentioned that to me before. Yeah, I know it's not your favorite game, but you said it's a perfect video game. Yeah, that's what I meant. So that in that sense, it's like maybe that would be easier to talk about it because you have strong opinion about it, but it's maybe not so much your favorite thing ever that it would be intimidating. I mean, that's like a lot of my reviews is like, it's not like they're my favorite games ever, but it's like, oh, this is a really cool idea. Oh, this is interesting. So it just like makes me want to talk about it for that reason. Like Pinball Quest on NES, just the concept of that was interesting. It right off the bat, before I even played it, I was like, I'm gonna review this. This is just so wild, I have to review this. And then I played it and I had to like realize, oh, this is not the best. Now I have to talk about that. I think that ended up being one of those sit through my experience of going through the game from beginning to end for the first time, and then also I'll talk about good and bad things about it. Crap. There we go. Oh. Oh, like a freaking sniper rifle. It's one, it must be really strong. Yeah, it is. It kills him in one shot. That would probably be good to bring to the boss, if you could. I think we're, speaking of the boss, I feel like we gotta be pretty close. I do kind of wish you would see, like, can you see what level you're on? I don't think it shows you, like, what level you're currently on, or, like, what level you're going to. I think that would be another good thing for this, so you can kind of keep track of, like, where am I in this world? That sounded really philosophical. But no, literally, in this game, what stage am I on? I'm gonna try to bring the sniper rifle all the way to the boss so I can see how much damage it does. The closest I ever came to making... Okay, it does say 516. I just don't know how many stages are in the world, so it only gives me so much information. The closest I ever came to making a video review was with the game I ended up leaving a negative review on for Steam. Sundered. It's like a roguelike Metroidvania horde battler thing. Oh, okay. Is it because you were interested in it at first, but then it disappointed you, or like just something ruined the whole game? You could definitely take some of your Steam reviews as like a starting point and consider making... That could also be a good start for a video review, I would think. Ooh, it's piercing too. That's cool. Does decent damage, but I feel like... Oh yeah. Dude, the ricochet gun's just the best. Oh no! Where's my heart? See, that's my problem. I don't think I ever do Steam reviews. That would probably help me, like, have a basis for, like, some video reviews. See, I have the problem that a lot of writers have, is that they hate to write. Got him. What was this guy's name? I didn't even notice. I couldn't take that one. They updated the game considerably since I left that, so I'd want to give them a fair shake. Oh, that's fair. That's always something to consider. I try to do that in reviews too, like, maybe they've updated it since now, or maybe they'll fix this, you know? Like, I try to, like, have some positivity. Alright, we did World 5. So there's 6, 7, 8, 9. There's at least 4 more worlds left. I assume the game gets harder. Definitely a fun game. With Sundered, it was a contraction of Benoit Blanc syndrome that made me get that far in the process, though. Makes no damn sense. Compels me, though. I like that. Benoit Blanc syndrome. See? There you go. Write that down. Let's go in the review. I wonder what the bonus campaigns are. You know what? Also, I saw that this game had free DLC for My Friend Pedro, which I think was by... Oh, we'll speak of the devil. So, I wonder how long this bonus campaign is. We'll probably want to check that out too at some point. I never played My Friend Pedro. I think it's by the same studio. I saw Dragnix play a little bit of it, and it looked fun. But it wasn't like compelling enough to make me want to play it. I'd seen a lot of games like it already. This game is similarly like structured, but it has sort of different gimmicks to it, which is why it kind of pulled me to trying it out. If this is supposed to be the hell, would make sense for there to be 9 worlds. I didn't even think about that. Although there is a world 0, so that might throw that theory out of the window. But oh, and there's custom campaigns too. It's cool. It's always cool when games have that kind of feature. But Kevin's crying, being a crybaby. I'm kind of hungry, so I'll wrap up now. Good playthrough, good conversation. Thank you guys for joining as always. And hope you have a good start to your week, because I know it's Sunday. Dante doesn't start off at hell. There's the Lost Woods. Yeah. But alright. Y'all have a good night.